So another question on there was about, and people tend to do this. They say that I want to focus on my relationship with God,
Yeah. Okay.
and to understand God better. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, well, we are God
Yes.
ultimately.
Yes.
So then I was thinking, well, because I know that I was there at one point where I was focusing on my relationship with God,
Sure.
and trying to understand God more. Is is that something that we, because of mind, that we do and we focus on until we reach that point where we understand that there is no separation? I mean, because I know people that are very into their relationship with God, and
Mhm.
they seem to have a, like, naturally have, like, without doing this work,
Mhm.
to naturally have an understanding
Mhm.
of how this universe works.
Mhm.
And it's like, if I could take words out and put in words that we use, it would be pretty damn close.
Mhm. Sure. Yep. That's because they're following bhakti, right? They're following the path of devotion.
Oh, okay.
And devotion, greater devotion will yield greater awareness, and greater awareness will yield greater devotion.
Mm-hmm.
It works both directions. So the path that I work on is both simultaneously, but in the beginning, especially, we focus more on awareness,
Mm-hmm.
right? To bring understandings forward, to use the intellect to help pave that inroad into consciousness. In doing so, the natural occurrence is that more devotion naturally wants to come up and come through you. Yeah, and I'm sure that you would say in your particular case that you would agree with that. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't start seeing through your sense of the personal self and not fall head over heels in love with the divine.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, that's just the way it is. But there are those, like you're saying, that has come for them first, and through their devotion. And when I say devotion, it requires that one yield to their sense of God, that they surrender to their sense of God. That's the whole point of devotion, of bhakti. And in surrender, it yields greater awareness, because we do the same thing on the mental side. It's about surrendering. So when the ego is running and it's doing its thing, at a certain point, we're telling you, just surrender to it. Just surrender to it. And ego wants to fight. And you're like, just no, just let it go, let it go. And in doing that, it breaks it down, just like a surrender from the space of devotion breaks it down. Yeah. So that's why you're seeing it work like that.
That's interesting.
It is. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why the perfect yoga is a blending of all of it.
Mm.
That's why we do the work the way we do the work. That it's not just mental. It can be, but far, far better to incorporate all of it, and to do it from the space of nurturing this. I don't tend to word it the way others would, saying, nurturing your relationship with God, because that's still, if you just listen to the wording of it, it still holds it out there as a
Yeah.
separate thing. And that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
However, you in your individuated state aren't the totality of God. So you can allow that to a certain degree. At some point, it kind of falls away. But especially in the beginning, if you still kind of view God as I won't say a separate thing, but a grander thing, let's just say, than just, so you're the pinky of God, right? I will say it that way. So you are part of it, but not all of it. And if it helps to view it that way and to just give yourself over to the totality of it and have a greater relationship and connection with that, there's nothing wrong with that at all. That'll shift for you as you do your work. But in the beginning, that's a really beautiful thing. Really beautiful thing. I remember one of the coolest experiences I had in my own work fairly early on. I remember so vividly it happening. I'm just trying to remember when it was. It must have been I'm going to say 2008, I think. But I remember being in my little bathroom, and I always had these amazing experiences in my bathroom. But I have this window I have this little tiny bathroom, like tiny. And I have this window, this like full-size window, like right across from my toilet. I mean, literally, like right there. And so I used to go in there all the time when I was, fairly new in my work, because my kids were really small. So if I needed to be alone, I'd close my bedroom door and then I'd go into my bathroom and close that door. So if they were banging on my bedroom door, I wouldn't hear them so much and wouldn't be so distracted. So I'd go in there and I'd just sit there on the toilet and I would look out the window, and we had this like beautiful maple tree that's out the window, and I had some really amazing experiences there. But there was one day I was in that bathroom. I had gotten out of the shower. I had a towel wrapped around me. I was still wet. And I just, for whatever reason, just sat down on the toilet seat. And I just went into this state of devotion. It was like it started as this, just a state of gratitude, thanking God for, I don't even remember what it was, but I'm sure it had something to do with the work that I was doing, that I was so grateful that, my guide had showed up for me, that I had been able to begin this work and had such amazing things happen in such a short amount of time. And so I was just really in this space where I was so thankful and so just sharing my love, like you would share your love to, your partner or your lover. And the energy that came in was so powerful. Now I understand what that energetic was now, and I didn't then. But it came in, it was literally so strong that on a cellular level, I could feel my whole body just vibrating. I mean, literally my teeth, I could feel them vibrating. It was so beautiful. And I felt like I was just going to completely float away. So that was like my first indicator of how powerful devotion is. It can completely transport you to a different state of consciousness altogether. Really move you into a transcendent state, no question. Yeah, really powerful. But it has to come from a very authentic place. And I guess that's the point. The point is, if you are struggling to get yourself into a space where you feel grateful for anything, you'll be challenged, right? Because you really do have to nurture that and give yourself over to, stopping the pity party and looking for the things that you truly in your heart are grateful for. And then, offering thanks and gratitude to that which is greater than you for those things, and it's a beautiful exercise. Absolutely.
Okay.